Hey there, welcome to my channel for Evolved Humans. I am Ms. Day. This is a collective reading, however, so it's not going to apply to everyone. And you don't have to be a female, but I'm definitely reading for a feminine energy. And I feel like, okay, so I feel like in the past, recently, you have kind of come into your own space. And I feel like you've been able to, okay, so here's the deal. I feel like you actually, when I thought about your energy, this is going to apply to more than one of you. This is feminine, but this feels like really personal. I feel like your energy in your relationships as you were growing you are very, very sponge-like to other people's feelings. That's what I feel like. I feel like you're extremely you know that. That's something that you've always identified as, is someone that is very in tune with other people's feelings. So I feel like at this stage in your life, one of the quick ways to identify yourself when you are getting to know other people is probably to describe yourself as an empath. And that's not going to be all of you, but that's definitely someone. And I feel like you're in a stage of solitude right now. So that means that what it's feeling like, the message is, I like to give a message about something you can control right now. So that's what I ask for. So first of all, you need to know that I feel like you're like a giant ball of love, like just raging love in there. And it's not coming out because in the past experiences that you've had, this feels very unique. Like I feel like I'm talking to somebody very, very unique. And I feel like a lot of people don't know just how tender you are because you have learned to pull back, because you always, you're at a stage where you had to let people go. And I feel like you've trusted your intuition in the way that you're empathic and in the way that you are learning what is good for you and what isn't, what draws out pain and what makes you feel at peace. So right now, for whatever reason, whoever I'm talking to, I feel like you have your own space. That's not for everyone, but I feel like somebody is on their own. That's, like I said, solitude. So whoever has this energy of I feel like whoever I'm talking to is stuck because the people you let go, you never wanted to. I feel like you fought so hard in yourself with almost like a dutiful love. No, I don't even feel like it was a conscious thought in your head where you were oh, they're really hurting me. I think that the feeling that I was getting today was that someone right now is stepping into a new phase. You are transitioning up, and you know that trusting your intuition was the right thing to do, and you know that you trust whoever, you sense other people's energy, you sense your guides. So I feel like they guide you and you let them because you're such a sponge to energy. That's why you probably feel like an empath. I think this was throughout childhood too. And so this tenderness in you, because you sponged, you also just you were so open because you had so much love to give outward. And so getting hit, I don't think that you necessarily, it's not super dark past that I'm thinking, it's just really painful moments where people didn't necessarily know they were hurting you, this is where it really feels like a feminine, because I think that you're ready to step fully into this new chapter, and I think you're hesitating to allow yourself to. It's you need, also this is to do with someone professionally, and you've discovered more, like I said, I feel like the empathic, you experience other things coming through when it's not just you in there and you know it. So here, hang on. Okay, yeah. So I feel going forward, you actually need to allow yourself permission to kind of release and grieve the fact that it is unjust what happened to you. And like the thing is, I don't everything happens for a reason. So that's what I feel like the message is for you. You need to recognize that this is coming at you if you're feeling almost like you're at a brick wall because you trust your intuition, you trust the, your guides, and you've tried to take the right steps. And I feel like you've wound up in this place where you actually feel really alone, and you're like, okay, but all of that stuff that happened to me wasn't like I didn't set myself up for it. It was in my path. And that's where I feel like this is new. This is what they want you to know is the next step is you got to release this. This is why you've fallen into this moment of solitude. It's so that you can release what has been and step fully into something with more room for a new experience. So the thing I kept thinking all day is that you don't see the next step in front of you. You've tried to take the right steps, and you're trusting your gut, and you're trusting your intuition, and you're listening. Like, you know that you're not the only one in there, and you're listening. And whoever I'm talking to, I feel like you were probably described as sensitive growing up. And I think that that's where you have kind of self-identified by recognizing that what that actually means is that you feel so much for others that you are, you just sync up. You just know what's going on in them, and it's like so instantly all the way to your gut and your core. You care so deeply. So I think that's why you feel unjust, like that what you've gone through doesn't make sense. So this sounds like this is the message that keeps coming. First of all, the next step is badass. Yeah, justice. So I feel like what you have a right to do now is what you don't have a human telling you to do. This is what message I feel like is coming through. Super important. I don't know if you were like not raised around whoever I'm talking to. I don't know if you like this feels kind of like a foundation. Like you need to trust that someone's listening right now, because you know it. You do. You're totally aware that you're not the only voice in there. And in this moment of shaky, your stability is actually going to be in experiencing the unjust, because you're right, you didn't deserve it, but it's all going to level out, and it's time for it to. That is the most important message, is that it is time to allow yourself. And okay, here's another thing that I was getting today. This is crazy too. I feel like the people you were surrounded with all throughout, growing up and stuff, I feel like you almost had, okay, maybe it's when you entered adulthood. I feel like you thought that once, you did you and they did them, that everybody was going to be accepting of that because you're so accepting. And because of that, I feel like you're actually not only feeling unjust. This is for others too. This is a different type of moment I had. So this might be for that same person and whoever else this resonates with. But I feel like you almost got met with disdain when you got excited about doing you and like things that lit you up. I feel like you got treated almost in a way that as if you were like trying to get attention or boasting, and it's like you were like, no, I just thought that this is like, I thought we just supported each other, And I feel like that's where that injustice is. So going forward, the message is, this is what sounds religious, okay? It's like I heard someone, I just keep remembering this person that had super strong faith years ago. Like all day I just keep thinking, you need to hear this. And I believed in God at the time, but I had never really heard this perspective, okay? So what she said was, I had it out with God. And it's like, whoa, like that told me I had permission to be pissed at what I'd already gone through, because it wasn't fair, it wasn't just, and certain things didn't line up because I willingly stepped into them. Some things that happened to you, like you were born into this time just like the rest of us. we're kind of preconditioned to be hurt and to be, because hurt people hurt people. So like everybody knows that's why this new wave of healing is through, because we're so in need of it. And your empathic ability, your sensitivity that hurt you growing up, it hurt throughout these sort of societal pathways and avenues. And now that's what your guides are saying. Like, we know. Let it out. Let it out. It's safe now. Because when you let it out, like we've got you. We know what it is you need to let out, and it's not fair for you to have to just pretend that didn't happen though, or that you deserved it. That's the whole message, is that you didn't. So let it out. Be pissed. Don't be afraid to go wherever you want to go in your mind between you and your guides, because you are so like sponge to everything that you're full spectrum. You got to go everywhere in there. And that's it's almost going to be like years of like this inner child letting this out as you grieve and release going forward. And that's justified. You are allowed. So like this excited feeling that you have actually bottled up at moments in your life, I feel like that's coming to a head right now, where you're kind of meeting at this level with yourself where you're like, okay, I've trusted my intuition. It didn't give me perfection. And yet I'm still trusting my intuition, but I'm carrying some wounds and some serious, like almost resentment is what is the word that it fits, but that's not how like this actually, you're hurt that all of that happened, because now that you're out in your own space, it's like you can see the shade back there, and it's like, I've tried though. So you need to go forward with, the cool thing is, like I said, that you were like raging ball of love. So like the most exciting part of the reading is that the future feeling is you are just not allowing yourself. So like allow yourself to express out your joys after you go through this grieving and during it, because it's not just like overnight stuff. So so just go through letting yourself like express your joys out without feeling like you're going to be taken wrong. That's your right too. Don't continue to react by pulling out of the world. It's time for you to burst into it.